going to be the relevance of online and telephone theft today. It's an extremely prominent issue right now. Recognizing the different types of scams that may come up in the day-to-day, and methods for prevention and safeguarding from those said scams. And then lastly, what to do if you are scammed. Now, a big thing I am going to stress though is that it's extremely important that you focus in on the methods of preventing and safeguarding, because if you are scammed, we're going to cover it in the future, but it is very difficult to recover your money, try to chase down the scammers. So having the preventative measures in place is the best solution. So a little bit about me. I'm a senior at Oceanside High School. I've been going to the Oceanside Library and being involved in the community since I was really young. I'm an Eagle Scout, and I have a personal connection to the story that it'll be covered later on in the presentation, but it's really what sparked my why for doing this. And then a little bit more on the program itself, Stay Fraud Free. I started this as a part of a civil literacy project for my school, and then I turned it with my scouting troop and with the computer science club of my high school. We built it up to be a pretty large organization that presents at different libraries. Our pilot session was at the Oceanside Library, and that was recognized by the Long Island Herald. And we've gotten citations from Nassau County and a New York State Certificate of Merit. So we really try to make the biggest impact that we can.
Awesome.
So first, I'm going to start off with the significance of scams and their effects. So first off, where you can find them. It's really on any smart device. I mean, right in front of me, I have a phone in my pocket. We have the laptop here. I'm sure most of you are carrying some type of phone or some type of device. And it's really anywhere. It's in your text, your emails, pop-ups, social media. It's really anywhere that you can see a screen, there could be someone trying to attack you in a fraudulent way. As well as websites. It doesn't even have to be your own device. It could be just you browsing on a public computer and it could pop up. And then for telephone scams, it's not just on mobile phones. It is mobile, but it's also landlines and home phones, and really anything that has some type of connection to the greater online, it could be subject to a scammer. And their ultimate goal is to take personal information that could be just your name, your address, anything that could tie to things about you, like the security password, like your mother's maiden name or something like that, trying to just get more information about you. Banking details especially, that's going to be coming in big with the financial scams. Your home address, as I mentioned, and this is the biggest stress, is your social security number. It's extremely hard to recover a situation from identity theft with your social security number, and you should always safekeep it as much as possible. And there are ways to do that, and we're going to go over that in the presentation. And their main target, unfortunately, is elderly senior citizens. Growing up, like myself and a younger generation, we pretty much came out of the womb with computers in our hands, so we know how to spot them a little bit better than having a senior citizen who's newer to adopting technology. And because of that vulnerability, the scammers often try to target them because they are not able to spot a scam as easily. So in the modern day, there's been estimated by the FDIC $3.1 billion all-time lost in online or telephone financial scams, with 30% of the scams being elderly citizens of being ages 60 and above. And that's a very small portion of online users, because a larger share of the users online are from my generation or slightly above me. So having 30% accountability for an extremely small portion of the users online shows the impact of the financial scammers. And they are local. This is a News 12 article from last year where a 71-year-old woman from Woodmere was scammed out of $50,000 on her telephone. And there are four main types of scams that we're going to be covering. The first one is phishing scams. So the spelling is a little weird for phishing, but phishing essentially is someone trying to impersonate a reputable organization or some type of business trying to get your personal information or banking details. So for example, in this email below, it's an email saying important, your password's gonna expire, and they're asking you to click a link that is unsure. It's just an email sent into your inbox. I don't know about you guys, but I get texts nearly every day saying that I just purchased something, my mail is coming in from a number I've never recognized, and they're asking me to click a link to confirm. And it really is that blue text right there, myuniversity.edu, that might look realistic because it says .edu, but there's no guarantees for the .edu point. You see .com, .net, .org. Any one of those could be a potential scam. So it's not just recognizing the URL, which is that blue line. It's really trying to understand, why are they emailing you? Are you familiar with that organization? And just, can you trust them? Have you been contacting them before? The next one up, it's similar to phishing. This is imposter scams. This is going to be impersonating a specific person, like a loved one or an individual that you know. And an extremely prevalent portion of this is AI voices. I'm sure you guys have all heard the rise of AI, like ChatGPT and just other artificial intelligence. And as it stands right now, AI voices, they're being able to replicate your own voice. My voice right now, a scammer, if they just get my presentation that I'm speaking right now, they'd be able to create an entire replica of my speech without my consent and without what I'm able to speak. So with that, AI voices, they've contributed so much to the growing prevalence of scams that is extremely important now that you have to recognize that just because it's a phone call and you may understand the voice, there's now an extra needed layer of protection that you have to reach, because the voices and artificial intelligence is becoming so fluid, and each day it builds onto itself. So the more people use AI, the stronger it gets, because it learns from past experiences. Next up is imposter scams, and this is covering what we just did, and it's my grandpa's own story. This is really what I mentioned before of why I wanted to do this presentation. So my grandfather, on a seemingly regular day, received a phone call from my sister, or at least he thought it was his sister, my sister, and the voice was unclear, it was urgent, and it was saying, "Hey, Grandpa, I got in a car accident. I need you to wire over some money right now, because I need to pay the hospital fee. Mom and Dad aren't answering. I need your help." And it demanded thousands of dollars immediately to help her. And my grandpa, unknowing of the various situations online, the growing prevalence, he hears my sister's voice on phone calls, and phone calls, we all know, they're not the most sounding audio quality. So he hears my sister requesting money, and he sends it over, trying to just help his innocent granddaughter. Next up is tech support scams. These are very common in pop-up ads. You can see warning 5 viruses detected. It's really just trying to say, masking your computer and saying, hey, there's an issue with your computer, click this link, it'll fix it. And it's always the clicking that really gets you. It's the clicking and the imposter and the phishing scams that we just covered, of clicking the links, where they're trying to mask themselves as tech support, and they're trying to get you to say, you may be thinking you're removing a virus, but they're really giving you one and clicking that. Next up is investment scams. So this is more geared towards, actually younger citizens are the ones who get hit with these the hardest, but scammers, they promote high reward, low risk opportunities. They're saying, hey, click this link right now and you can get millions of dollars investment opportunity, but you have to do it in this short time window. They're trying to hit on your sense of urgency, and with that, it makes you more drawn because you want the opportunity. You think you're winning it big, but they're masking themselves under that big prize, and then they're trying to steal your information from it. And usually they'll say, if you just send me maybe so-and-so small amount of money for the investment, you'll win big in this short time period. But then the second you send it to them, they're vanished, and they have your information, they have your wire. So investment scams, phishing scams, imposter scams, all the ones that we just covered, we're gonna go over how to recognize and how to avoid them, because these are extremely important. They've been extremely growing on targeting other individuals, and I wanna make sure that everyone in this room is able to get at least something out of this presentation so that they can recognize these and avoid them. So recognizing the scams on that point. When you're online, you have to look for things that are out of the ordinary. So first one would be unknown names, file types, email addresses, or links. If you're texted from a random organization that you've never heard of saying that you have a package, or they're trying to contact you for some type of reward and you've never heard of it, the best thing that you can do is just delete it. Because if you really want something, or they really want to contact you, they'll go the extra step, they'll try to ensure that you're able to be contacted. There's no way that the IRS is going to be texting your cell phone trying to say, hey, you owe this amount of money, because first of all, texting is not the best line to get to you. And second, if you really do owe money for some reason, they'll be contacting you on multiple things. It's not just going to be one simple email that you see. Another thing is the high-risk payment methods. They can be saying, doing things in terms of cryptocurrencies, in terms of stocks, where they're not asking you just to wire over some money necessarily. They're saying, if you're use these types of financial currencies, And that's a little bit riskier, so they're trying to draw you in because they have better control over that. So if you're not seeing reliable things such as banking that you've been familiar with from an organization, the bank that you use, if you're seeing cryptocurrencies from an unknown email, the best thing is just to throw that email away. And another big thing, which is really on their part, is the spelling errors. Fake emails are riddled with spelling errors. Oftentimes, the scam agencies are outsourced from foreign nations using Google Translate. So they really attempt to just send the mass amount of emails that they can, and they're very careless with it. And then the biggest point would be extreme urgency. In my opinion, the most prominent thing is saying, hey, you have 24 hours to claim this. Do this investment right now. I need your granddaughter is in an emergency. Grandpa, please pay me right now. It's the sense of urgency that really begs on your emotion of fear, and that's really what gets people to fall into the susceptibility of scams. And then on telephone, it's extremely similar. It's the urgent requests again. It's requests for payments, and a big one with telephone is the robotic sounding callers. Believe it or not, you might not be speaking to an actual person. They might be clicking a soundboard of pre-recorded messages saying, hello, you have received this financial reward. And it might sound robotic, it might sound clear, but it's the mannerisms of their voice. A big part with the AI recognition also is that there's a real inflection in everyone's voice. We have different various mannerisms, and the telephone scams, robots and AI, they're just not at that point yet. They can't hit our very personal tones of voice, and they're getting there and it's close, but it's really important that you're able to try to listen carefully and understand exactly what they're asking you and how they're trying to contact you. And then a couple obvious ones would be if it's an unknown phone number. I know iPhones are attempting to try to recognize and tell you if it is a potential scammer, which is helpful, but if you're getting a phone number from a number that you don't know and you have no clue why they're calling you, chances are it's better to just hang up the phone than answer it in the first place. And then lastly would be a request for personal information. Plain and simple, people, unless it's a very trusted source, are not going to be asking you for your social security on the phone, because that's the easiest way for you to give it up on accident, have no proof of track record, and there's no email chain that shows that you gave it to them that you can show to authorities. It's just a simple line of voice, and that is what really could get someone, because anything on the phone, the second they have it, and it's gone. You're not able to recover it, you're not able to really trace back what you said on the phone, because it's just he said, she said it, it's word of mouth. And this is funny to include, but it is an actual story. The police won't arrest you on the phone. They're not asking you for bail on the phone. They have better means to contact you. They'll be at your door really if they're trying to arrest you. It's not going to be done where, hey, you're arrested, go and pay your bail right now via this wire line. It's unrealistic, and it's unfortunate that I have to include it, but that is a real story of what has happened to a senior citizen. And the major trend, to just trying to synthesize the two of those, is the urgency. Once again, it's the trying to push on your fear. It's requests from strangers, unknown sources, people that you don't know. Requests for personal information via emails or on the phone. And it's the poor grammar, spelling, pronunciation. Maybe they have a thick accent that you're not used to. The grammar is very incorrect. There's spelling errors. So those are the biggest ways to spot them. Does anybody have any questions so far about trying to recognize a scam? Perfect. So next one, we're gonna play a game of trying to spot the scam. I'm gonna be showing you a few images of emails, phone calls, just various text boxes, and we're gonna see if it is a scam and then what type of the four. And I'll go over the four again if anyone is not following it. So first one, we have an email here saying failed delivery, redeliver item now from ozpost@yandex.com.au. And it's saying that your parcel wasn't delivered in time to an incomplete address. Use the link below to update your address. Do you guys think that this is real or fraudulent? Yeah, it's a scam. And what type? We have phishing, which is impersonating an organization, imposter, impersonating a loved one, tech support, or financial. Exactly, yeah, it's a phishing scam. They're trying to seem like they're essentially like the UPS or major parcel delivery service. And right here, this box, where even if this seems pretty legit, you know, there's not really any spelling errors, they're just saying to update the link. If the fact that it comes from a strange email address, there's a sense of urgency, you might not even have been expecting a package in the first place. But it's really that they're trying to get you to update your address. They're trying to get your information. So if you could just use the information of realizing, hey, I don't know where this is coming from. They're begging on my sense of urgency. I'm unfamiliar with it, and they're requesting information. You can know that this is 100% a scam. Next one, you get a text from an unknown number saying, hey, it's Teresa. Do you remember this photo with a link to the words this photo? Now, I get texts all the time like this from my friends, just saying, just trying to show me a memory from their cell phones. What do you guys think?
I get one that says hi, and that's it, or hello, nothing else.
Yeah.
And I just delete it.
That's a really big thing. That's a really smart strategy.
Yeah, I get
because
a lot of those.
scammers, at least, especially recently, I've been getting them as well. They'll try to talk to you as if they're in the middle of a conversation already. Like, hey, did you talk to him yet? And you have no context. You don't understand where that's coming from, but it kind of makes you think, oh, like, is this someone I was talking to that I don't have their number? They're trying to use any type of strategy that they can to try to trick you. Now, this specific one is a scam, and do you guys know which type out of the 4 options?
Imposter?
Yeah, imposter, exactly. This one, even though it's an unknown number, they're trying to impersonate someone that you personally know. And imposter and phishing are very similar. Phishing is just an organization. If this was saying like, hey, it's your bank, is this deposit legitimate? And they send you that link, that's more of a phishing scam because it's a bank trying to be impersonated. Versus imposter is a friend. They're playing on your personal relationships because that's a really good way for you to kind of let your guards down. You know, you're just getting texted by a friend. Maybe you have a friend named Teresa that they found on your Facebook. You had someone you knew named Teresa. Yeah. And then for the next one, this is a phone call. It says, hi Daniel, my name is Adam and I'm calling from Telenet. How are you? Your $40 monthly contract ends soon. If you'd like to upgrade to a new phone, we can send you the paperwork. Alternatively, you can visit us in store to arrange it. Do you guys think this is a scam or is this legit?
Sure.
So
I mean, is Telnet a real company? I'm calling from Telnet.
that's a good question. Even though this is a hypothetical situation, saying that it is a real company, just maybe they're saying, hey, this is Verizon calling you. Even if you're not a Verizon user, this is actually not a scam. And the big reason here is saying they'll send you the paperwork or you can visit them in person. And if it's a real legitimate company, let's say Verizon calls you and say, hey, visit the Verizon store in Oceanside at this location, because they're trying to send you to a legitimate spot and not saying, hey, what's your bank account, send us the information now and we'll mail you the phone. That's the big difference. Because they're asking you to go the extra step and visit in person to the store itself, it's not a scam. Now, some parts are a little fishy here, asking you to send you the paperwork. That might be kind of, sending the red flags a little bit, but if an organization's contacting you and they're saying things like, visit our store in person, go to our official website, and they're not giving you the link, they're asking you to go to it yourself, then more chances than not, it's not gonna be a scam, because if Verizon says you can do this online at Verizon.com and you go into Verizon.com, a scammer's not gonna want you to go into Verizon.com. They're gonna be sending you a link that's fraudulent saying go to like VZ.com or something fraudulent. So this one's not a scam, even though it was close. And if it was a scam, it would be it'd be something in the lines of tech support or financial or phishing. I know that's kind of broad, but it's a tech company where they'd be impersonating it to be closer to phishing, but it seems like they're trying to get something financial out of it. But in general, because they're asking, and it's an interesting nuance, but because they're asking you to go to a legitimate organization, not saying click this link to do this, it leans towards the side of being legitimate. Now this one right here, you get a alert message saying your credit card's been suspended. To unlock your account, click here. What do you guys think for this one?
Well, I wouldn't click anything.
Exactly. Honestly, that might be the best piece of advice that you could have, is just don't click it. Even if you see the blue lines, you think, hey, it's really easy to click, just stay away from it, because you don't know this number at all.
Once you would click it, I mean, have they sucked you in, or can you still delete it and they won't get anything?
It really depends on
I've heard a lot of people say, don't even click
Yeah,
it.
it's best not to just don't even click it, because clicking it could be that you click it and it installs a virus on your computer immediately or on your phone, versus some aren't that sophisticated. It clicks it, it sends you to a false website trying to get you to type in your information. Now the website itself might not be sending a virus, but the fact that you're giving the information is what really could get you. So it's best to just not click it. We're gonna go over the steps on how to avoid them and the strategies to do it. But right here, this link, you have no clue where it's coming from. It's an alert. They're trying to play in that sense of urgency again. That's been a common theme through all of these scams. Like, it's in the moment. Hey, go and look at this right now. The number's not saved. And really, your credit card's not gonna text you. If it's a real organization, they're gonna send you a legitimate email saying these are the steps that you can go through. They don't need your information because they have it already. And there's methods that they're gonna be doing, asking you various safe words, asking you real information that only you and the bank would know. So being able to spot A, unrecognized number, and B, sense of urgency, those two right there already should tell you that you shouldn't be clicking this, you should be deleting it immediately. And that email would be a phishing email, maybe a phishing one or a financial. Phishing is extremely popular. I know it's come up in almost all of these, but it's because that's the easiest way for someone to try to target a senior citizen, is by trying to make themselves look reputable, but then really being fraudulent. And then this is the last one, I think. Hi, this is Frank Johnson from the Australian Tax Office, and pretend that this is in Australia, calling you owe $825.70 in tax. We are proceeding with a court action against you unless you pay the full amount immediately, either by bank transfer or using iTunes gift cards. So that's actually kind of plays right there. It's clearly a scam, and this really plays on what I was mentioning before with the strange ways of payment. Maybe he could have said maybe by investing in this cryptocurrency and transferring it to us. And I personally don't use crypto, but it's just hearing an iTunes gift card to pay for something, or it could even be something like PayPal, where it seems legitimate. I mean, iTunes is Apple, it's a large organization, but it's really the sense of urgency with the immediately. They're asking right now. The IRS isn't going to be calling you on your phone saying what you owe, but it's the sense of urgency, it's the strange types of payment methods, and it's really, if your flag's raised, it's best to just hang up. Maybe this was the IRS, but if it is, they're calling you again and again and again trying to get their money. So if you spot anything fishy, better safe than sorry is really the best strategy. And this one would have been a financial scam right there. So we're actually gonna go back to what my grandfather's story is. This is the same message I just said, and we're gonna go line by line and see what are the things that he could have recognized that might have helped him prevent the scam. So first, he received a phone call from an unknown number claiming to be my sister. Now, in my opinion, the biggest red flag there is that it's an unknown number. Likely with a loved one, you have their phone number saved, you recognized it. It's a little strange, but it could be a situation where they're calling from another phone, but just unknown number is flag number one. Then the voice was a little unclear. That itself, just being muffled, someone trying to mask it a little bit so you're not able to 100% discern if the inflection in their voice is correct or maybe their mannerisms. Those two right there. The call was urgent, saying, hey grandpa, I need you to send this money right now. It's playing on the sense of urgency, the sense of fear. Most of the time humans, their biggest response is gonna be to something fearful. That's the biggest emotion that can really draw them in. Said she was in a terrible accident and demanded thousands of dollars immediately. That's another huge one. Even in this situation in general, oftentimes medical payments aren't due the second that an event has, but it's really the sense of urgency and the sense of fear that plays onto it. If I was in his situation and I wasn't familiar with the various financial scams, I'd probably do the exact same thing. And I'm sure most of us would, and that's really the point of this presentation, is trying to learn you don't have to be an expert at computers, but just trying to learn what's fishy and what's not is really what's gonna help you. And now we're gonna learn how to prevent the scams in general. First, there's some green flags online. When you're scrolling online, if you're on a website, oftentimes you'll be on Google, let's say you're on Amazon, most of the time you'll have this padlock right here. And that padlock is really important because it means that it's a completely trusted website. Fraudulent ones don't have the padlock, and it's a method that Google tries to do, Bing, Yahoo, all of them try to do so that a website is recognized and that you can feel confident when using the platforms. There's not really any spelling errors. I mean, here and there might be something on a website, but if everything is legitimate, it looks professional, no spelling errors, and there's that lock right there, that's when you know you're secure. And I know you guys are taking notes, so I would actually write this part out right here, HTTPS. I know we might see like a www dot or whatever it is, but seeing a lock and the PS specifically, all websites have to have this tagline, whether it's HTTP or HTTPS, determines the S right here. This is what determines if something's fraudulent or not from Google's point of view. The S really stands for secure. It's like a whole technological acronym, but legitimate websites that are encrypted, they're secure, they're made sure that they're not going to be able to steal your information. They'll have a padlock and they'll have an S. So if you don't see the padlock, maybe it's just not visible to you. Looking for the S, I know it's a little bit more on the technical side. That's not what I was focusing on this presentation. I was just trying to focus on the broader things, but looking for that S could really save you. And then next, online security, it's blocked out there, but using passwords, trying to make them complex, trying to not use the same password on every single platform, that's already a good strategy because say in an event you do have a password to your Amazon account being compromised, they get your password, you still have the opportunity to protect everything else because scammers, they're gonna get your password and they're gonna try that same exact password on every other platform with your email address. So having various passwords that are hard to guess, they're complex, they're different on different platforms, that step right there could help you that if you do fall for a scam, it doesn't have a ripple effect on your other accounts. Next up would be activating two-factor authentication. I know that sounds like a larger term, but two-factor authentication is if you've ever signed into an account, they say, hey, we just emailed you a code to confirm that you're using that. By default, they usually have them, but sometimes they ask you if you say, oh, remember me next time. That's a checkbox that comes up very often. So two-factor authentication, saying no, I'm gonna type in my password every time, send me an email or a text message with a code every single time. Right there, that's another layer of protection. So now you have a strong password, they're asking you for a second code each time. That's already gonna protect nearly all your websites in the event that one of them is compromised. And then being conscious of the websites you use, scanning your computer for viruses, just trying to practice safe things, don't go into unfamiliar websites that you haven't done before, saying, oh, I'm gonna go and shop on Nordstrom's. You go to Nordstrom's website, that's fine, it's a reputable store, but not clicking every link when you say, I'm looking for t-shirts, and then you click every link on Google. Not every link's gonna be considered, not every link is gonna be secure. They don't all have the S, and really just trying to stick with what you know, stick with what appears reputable, will be said with no spelling errors, that you know is a legitimate site. That'll ensure your security.
So that last thing, when it says scan your computer for viruses, how do you do that?
It depends on what type of computer you have. Do you have like a laptop or a computer at home? Is it a Mac or is it Windows? Windows. So Windows is built in. You could honestly just Google how to do it.
Okay.
But built into the settings, there's going to be a padlock there, and it's like the security section of the settings, and they'll say, do you want to run a quick scan?
Okay.
And that can be good. It'll check all your files, see if anything's corrupted, if anything is vulnerable, if there's anyone trying to access your device.
So you just go into Google and say, how do I scan for viruses?
Yeah, and then there'll be a step-by-step probably right on there. But for Windows itself, I use Windows, and I know that it's going into settings, finding the padlock, and then it'll say quick scan. I'm sure Apple also has a very similar thing. Apple ensures your security really highly on Mac, if anybody uses a Mac. But trying to scan your device just semi-frequently is a good extra step. And then next up, this is kind of a Greenberg family secret, but this is the best method in my opinion, and I'm really gonna stress that this method is probably the thing that can save you from nearly every financial scam that could come up online or on the phone. So what a safe word is kind of an abnormal word, not something in your everyday life. For example, I'm gonna go with ruby red shoes. It's not something that you say in an everyday conversation, but if you were to receive a phone call saying, I'm with your granddaughter or I'm with your son and we need this amount of money right now, or it's grandpa, I'm in an accident, I need the money. Just saying, hey, what's the password? This isn't the password like the one you're typing in on Google. It's a family, very closely not said, it's not like used every day, but saying something like, oh, grandpa, the password's ruby red shoes, then they know that that's a real, authentic conversation. You know it's the person, because no one's gonna be able to guess that. That's not, don't use ruby red shoes on Google, Bing, on everything like that. This is like a really familial one that can help you protect yourself, because no scam artist is gonna be able to know what you and your son's password is between each other. It's like a secret code word. A couple other famous ones that we've used is Elmer's glue and cucumber. It's just things that don't come up every single day in life. You don't want to say shoe, be really specific on the word, and having only your close family know. It's not something they tell all your friends. It's just your immediate family and those that you trust, those that could be impersonated to be vulnerable. That safe word right there could protect you. And then the second step, as I just said, is keeping it confidential. Not telling it to anyone, and just trying to make sure it's secure. If the word itself is secure, then you're gonna keep yourself secure in general. Your family will be secure. So if we look at my grandfather's situation, as we said, there's all of these red flags right here. If he just said to my sister, or the impersonator, oh, Gracie, okay, what's the password? The scam artist, the AI voice that was calling him, had no clue. That would have saved ourselves financial hardship. It would have protected him. And this is the best situation, not best situation, this is the best strategy on a telephone scam, is saying, what's the password? Because they're gonna, maybe they do know your Amazon password, maybe they say it's like password 123, whatever it is. That's not the password that you're looking for. You're looking for the personal safe word, and that's the best strategy. So yeah, as I said, he would stop and he would say, what's the password right there? And a couple other uses of safe word that my family's used. I have a personal story just growing up. One time, my dad wasn't able to pick me up from school. I was maybe 10 years old, and someone was going to pick me up, like saying, oh, hey, I'm so-and-so's mother, I'm your friend of your family, I'll go pick you up. Now that's a very common way for kidnappings. It's a common way to try to like lure children. But I said to my friend's mom, I said, oh, what's the password? Because I would only get in a car, my parents trained me to do so only if they knew the password, they were a trusted adult. Because even if it was my friend's mom, for all I know, I don't know everyone, I can't trust everyone. But if my parents had the trust of giving her the word for that situation, they say, hey Max, the password's ruby red shoes, ask the person picking you up what's the password and they'll tell it to you. That's just one extra layer of security. And another one could be, it's really just, if you're in a situation where maybe maybe you just want to get out of there, like for me personally, if you're getting peer pressured at a hangout or something like that with your friends, and you can't say, hey dad, pick me up, like I really need to get out of here, but just saying, hey dad, those are really nice ruby red shoes. It's kind of an indicator, a little code word that has so many different uses that we just said, with the what's the password, saying, hey dad, do this, like pick me up, but it's not saying pick me up. It's an implicit way to be able to add an extra step of security that's not online. This isn't anywhere on any platform. This is one-to-one connection, personal, because as we said, it's urgency, it's the personal connections that they attack the most. And then lastly, this is really the least fortunate part of the presentation, is what to do if scammed. And I will preface it with that it's very difficult to recover your financials. It's just, the reason why I emphasize most of the presentation on trying to prevent scams is because if you are scammed in that event, it's near impossible to get your money back in a few situations. So first one, if you're to pay a scammer, fortunately, if it's with a credit card, there are fraudulent purchases that you're able to report, and then likely they will insure your money and give it back to you. But you have to be able to spot it. You have to know that it's a scam in the first place. For all you know, 6 months later, you pay for something, and 6 months later you realize, hey, wait, that was fraudulent. The credit card company, it might be past their window. It might not be possible for you to be able to recover it. So acting immediately on that and trying to follow your purchases, making sure that you have a going list of everything you're ordering online, because they're going to be texting you saying, hey, I got one just this morning, USPS, your package is arriving tomorrow, but it's late, click this link to track it. Now, that was extremely fraudulent, but they're trying to seem like a government organization, USPS, versus USPS actually sending you a real website authenticator, just saying, hey, it's coming tomorrow, or just the mailman coming in general. So for paying the scammer, cash in the mail, as I was just talking about, you could call the post office saying, I just mailed this amount of money, it was sent to this address, I sent it from this location. Now, they have methods to try to recover your payments. Credit card company could try to help you. The Postal Inspection Service could try to help you. And if you already use a type of online service, they might have some type of means of tracking. But ultimately, if you paid a scammer, there's a very large chance that you're not gonna be able to get your money back. And it's really unfortunate, but that's why I emphasize the most on the preventative aspects. Now, if you get information for your social security number, this is kind of your secret key to everything. You know, your bank's using, your job pays you with your social security number, your taxes are tracked with it.